Born in Philadelphia to a Navy veteran turned police officer father and a nun turned legal secretary mother, Patrick Murphy was raised with strong themes of both service and justice, themes that remain with him to this day. An ROTC cadet in college, a JAG officer in law school, a law professor at West Point, and, after volunteering for service in the days following 9/11, an Iraq veteran. From 2003 to 2004, Murphy served in Baghdad with the 82nd Airborne Division, where he oversaw the justice system for millions of Iraqis. But he soon set his sights on a new type of service: politics.
And I felt a real responsibility for my generation of veterans. I made their transition when they come home better.
In 2006, he became the first veteran of the Iraq War to be elected to Congress, serving Pennsylvania's 8th District in the House of Representatives. He fought for the new GI Bill, championed vet employment legislation, worked alongside IAVA on the Lane Evans Bill, which created the Veterans Crisis Line, and led the charge to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
I was one of the first guys for Barack Obama, and I told him how I saw so many great leaders get thrown out just because they happen to be gay, not for any type of misconduct, and how wrong I thought it was.
Today we have a chance to do what is right. The Commander-in-Chief and a majority of our troops believe this policy should go.
Drawing upon his life's themes, Murphy demanded equality for all in the military, serving as a voice for those who may otherwise have been prevented from using theirs.
My kids, one day, when they're Googling their daddy and what he did when he was in the Congress, what did he stand for? What did he fight for? I want to make sure that they know their daddy fought for what he thought was right for our country, and I want them to be proud.
He later took this voice to the airwaves,
Welcome back to Taking a Hill. I'm Patrick Murphy.
hosting a television show focusing on veterans' issues and life after combat, and he has never stopped using this voice.
One more resume point on Patrick Murphy. At the night of that Amtrak crash, he was on that train helping people after the crash.
That's
really
right.
amazing.
Earlier this year, he was called upon to serve his country again.
Well, former Congressman Patrick Murphy has been nominated by President Obama to become Undersecretary of the Army.
That is the second highest ranking civilian position in the Army.
He became acting Secretary of the Army, where he was quickly catapulted into leading the entire United States Army. One of the youngest to hold the position, he has fought for the men and women who fight for us. From Philadelphia to Baghdad to Washington, his sense of service and justice has never wavered, and we proudly honor Patrick Murphy with the 2016 IAVA Veteran Leadership Award.
It is my honor to present Undersecretary Patrick Murphy with the 2016 Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America 2016 Veteran Leadership Award.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, well, that was awesome. Jane Horn, thank you so much. I know we lost Chris 5 years ago, but as I always say to you, and I hope you always will know that you always will be part of our Army family. And when you go to heaven, he will be so proud of your work that you do for all of our veterans and their families. So God bless you. Wow, I'm looking down. Jane, there's no doubt also my wife Jenny, who's here, is crying when she heard you, and you speak so powerfully. And I will tell you, there's a lot of friends in this room, and I think I've been to probably 8 of the 10 galas. But I will tell you, there's a lot of battle buddies, and it was interesting when you hear Les Gelb speak. First of all, Les introducing or comparing Paul Rykoff to Hulk Hogan and Patrick Henry. I mean, I want in on Les Gelb. I want to be like Rowdy Roddy Piper and like Thomas Jefferson or something. I mean, I want in on that. But you look at the disciples that Les has supported, and I will never forget when I was first thinking about running for Congress in Philadelphia and Bucks County, and I sat with Les, and he was like, well, how do you think you could win, and all that. I was walking him through how, even though I needed a few $100s in my bank account, that I could win. And he believed in me when a lot of folks didn't. And him and Judy are such a powerful couple and have done so much. So Les, thank you for your continued leadership. I look at Les' disciples like Paul Reichoff, Paul and IAVA, or IAVA, or I can't pronounce the other one, I forget. IAVA is the voice of our generation, of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. And I will tell you, I love Paul like a brother. He is a pain in the ass, in a good way. Because you think, Les was right. I mean, there's a lot of folks in Washington that they want to go the easy route. The easiest thing to do in the world is to do nothing. And even though I was a co-sponsor of the GI Bill, and I was there when we announced it, and I was there, he would call me and be like, hey, you got to talk to the so-and-so. I'm hearing bad things. And I'm like, okay, Paul, I didn't know. Like, you don't even live in Pennsylvania, dude. But I would do it because he asked. And I will tell you that I thought it was really funny that when Willie Geist and Phil Griffin and Rachel Maddow, when he calls them and he says, I can be on TV today, for Paul, I mean, God bless Lauren, but he has a face for radio, but a personality for TV. I had to give him a hard time a little bit. But Willie, it was really right. I mean, for NBC and MSNBC, to have Paul and be such a voice in the Commanders Forum this year, and for them giving me a shot for my own show, is something that I will always remember, and I will always be loyal to my family at NBC and MSNBC. So thank you for your continued work for our veterans. I will say, and again, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, but I will say to the Marines out there, happy birthday. I know y'all didn't come here to celebrate your birthday by listening to some Army paratrooper speak, but I will tell you, I'm proud to break bread with you tonight. I know you're feeling good because you're hanging out with America's varsity team, the United States Army. But keep working hard. You guys are a good JV team. There's some, Air Force. My brother's in the Air Force. My dad was in the Navy. They're a good freshman team. But you're JV. Keep working hard. Dude, someday. General Petraeus. I had been a young Army captain at West Point when 9/11 happened. I had volunteered the next day. I had done airborne and air assaults when I was getting ready for Ranger School when 9/11 happened, and my boss came in and he said, hey, you're going, but you're going to go serve. His name was then Colonel Pat Finnegan, became General Pat Finnegan, but he said, you're going to go, and then you're going to go serve under this guy, General Petraeus. And no offense, it was before he was General Petraeus that we all know. But I served in Bosnia with him. When you look at his disciples, when I was there as a captain, I was there with a young colonel named Mark Milley in Tuzla, Bosnia. And now Mark Milley is a 4-star general and the chief of staff of the Army. But sir, you will go down as one of the greatest battle captains in American history. And we are so appreciative of your leadership. And your wife Holly does incredible work for military families at Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And Holly and David are incredible for us, and we will never forget it. And we know you will continue the incredible work, and it's really the Lord's work of what you do, and we will always appreciate it. Ken Fisher, I love Ken Fisher. I mean, I don't know who has more energy than Ken Fisher. We talk about the Fisher House, we talk about the Intrepid Museum. His only negative, I would say, I shouldn't say negative, but judgment. He does this Invictus games, and it was awesome. Brings it to America. He gets his battle buddy, Jerry Byrne, who's a Marine, to get on, if you would have got like a guy like me in the Army, you would have had on NBC and MSNBC, but you went on ESPN instead. But it's okay. We don't take it personally. But now Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless here, so maybe Fox next year. And we have a little, where's the guy who's doing the bidding? So, but Ken, congratulations. I was there, and my wife Jenny and I were there that night at the closing of the Invictus Games, and to be there with your father, to see how proud he was of you and what you built, bringing that to our country, it was such a shining moment. And we are just, our generation of veterans are just grateful. But, I thought your remarks about people like Jerry Byrne, who's a Marine from Vietnam, and the Korean War and the Vietnam generation. People like Paul Reichoff and I and so many of us in this room have it so much easier because of that generation of veterans who were not treated. And our country learned a lesson that we didn't separate the war from the warrior, but you all made sure that we got a welcome home brother, welcome home sister, and a thank you. And I think what you say and what I think the Invictus Games and what so many of us do, it's really showing how veterans are civic assets. Our veterans, we are not charity. We are not victims. Veterans are civic assets for our nation. And the truth is this. The truth is the fact that veterans are more likely to be employed than non-veterans. Veterans are more likely to start a small business and for that small business to be successful than non-veterans. Veterans are more likely to be C-suite executives than non-veterans in Fortune 500 companies. Veterans are more likely to be Little League coaches and pastors in their churches. Veterans are more likely to vote in elections no matter what their political persuasion is, because we love our country. We love the Stars and Stripes. We love our country more than a political party. We believe in self-sacrifice and honor and integrity and what that flag stands for. So I wanted to thank you for this incredible award, and Jane, thank you for that incredible introduction and your continued service with the Afghan Embassy here in America, and for the ambassador for being here as well. In closing, I would just ask one thing. And tomorrow's Veterans Day, and I'll be out there at the parade with Paul and the guys and gals from IAVA. But just remember, we still have 150,000 troops that are overseas in over 160 countries right now. And we lost 6 of them in the past week. So let's celebrate, let's break bread, let's have a good time. But let's never forget that our nation continues to ask less than 1% of us to wear the cloth of our country and to volunteer to put ourselves in harm's way. So when you lay down at night, make sure you keep them and their families in your thoughts and prayers. God bless you, and God bless America.